that the people, the people down front are sort of SOL because they have no walls in between them, and it's just like a shooter.
How do you make the seat come out?
I have no idea. Okay, so we're at the theater. It's my birthday today, and I'm what? Oh, awesome! Oh my god, I had no idea that the seats could totally do this. Whoa! Check that out. Okay, that's pretty awesome. All right, now this is the way you see a movie. And well, we got a theater, and apparently they have been doing this for a while, which tells you how often we go to see movies. But you had to choose what seat you want to sit in, which is kind of strange, right? Okay, so we're just sort of waiting in the empty theater to see Black Panther, and I'll let you know how it is later on. Okay, I'm just sort of doing a little exploring while we're completely alone in the movie theater. And as you can see, some of the seats are red. I'm like, what the hell is up with the red seats? Apparently they have like these little remote controls. There's something, I'm like, what are these about? Because you can do the exact same thing as we did with ours, but apparently there are more options for a debunk seat, and I have no idea what the purpose even is. God, something my mom just pointed out is, look at all this space you have to walk around in now. I mean, you can practically twirl and not hit someone.
Maybe this wall's for you to hide behind if there's a shooter in the theater.
Oh, huh. That's grim, but yeah, you're not on it. Yeah, that's grim, but it makes sense. Huh. One wonders if that is the purpose of these walls. These rainbowy ramajamas, which are 50% off, would be amazing for in bulk. Oh my god, look how pretty that is. Okay, I just walked down the aisle and gnomes just exploded everywhere. I mean, check those guys out. That one. Those guys down there. Oh, I feel like I'm in an acid flashback. To be honest. And behind me there are these stately gentlemen. Unfortunately, I don't see any images of Pan here. Pan would be cool as fuck. In fact, I would just throw out all my money just for a statue of Pan for my garden. Oh, and more gnomes. Adorable dragons. And of course, candles in almost every single color you can imagine, except orange for some reason. Even the sort of salmon color. You know, I've never really researched to see what magical uses one could use a salmon colored candle for. I will definitely have to look into that. Here's a nice gilded green. Some caramel brown. Some gray, light gray, which would be probably good standard for silver. Dark gray. And the all-important black. Black and white are all important at an altar. because black draws in energy, and a white candle sends your spell, your energy out into the universe to do your bidding. So I will see you when I get home, I believe. And some aqua candles that I am picking up for my birthday altar, and for Piscean and Neptunian energies, because I can almost never find these. Hey guys, so just as I was checking out, I saw these across the way, and I am loving these. If anyone, I mean, look how big they are. If anyone worships a hearth goddess such as Hestia, these would make a great addition to your altar. Just, set a small candle on the inside and light it, and it's got a hole at the top for the heat and smoke to escape through. How awesome is that? And they come in two different sizes, a big ass one and a more medium sized one, but I really like this one's about $13. I'm definitely gonna have to get a hold of one because it's just too awesome. So I am now in the at-home store, and check out all this delightful stuff. Grow your own sage. Let's get seeds and stuff inside. And there's a little succulent plugs. Some great Ostara type gifts. I love all those little cloches. I wish they sold them separately. And lots of stuff to make a terrarium with. Unfortunately, I really don't see them selling those empty cloches. Those are awesome. But if you turn around, bazinga! Look at all that lovely spark of yellow that you can adorn your temples and altars with. Ostara and Midsummer. And apparently it continues over the wall there. I know it's fake, but it doesn't need to be tinted after. It won't die on you. It just gives you that wonderful, positive feeling. Oh, there is Pussy Willows. I miss Pussy Willows. My granite used to bring them inside every spring. It looks like heather, perhaps. Holy crap, and I was right, it does continue down the other aisle. So much fake flowers here. Oy. Little arrangements, wreaths, tons of little things. Okay, well, that's kind of lame. I mean, why bother this? You're gonna do the real thing, right? Okay, so I am in Target, and look what I have found. Tea tree oil, eucalyptus oil, lavender oil, sweet almond oil, and vitamin E oil. Rather inexpensively priced, which really amazes me for such a large quantity. Although the tea tree was a bit expensive for about 2 ounces, I think. Yeah, 2 ounces. The least expensive seems to be, of course, the almond oil. But the lavender oil, that's a pretty good deal. $7.
Oh, is that yours? Okay, good.
Hey YouTube, so I thought I would sort of wrap up my birthday video with a big old book haul. As you can see, I have my altar set up for my birthday for the energies of Pisces with some beautiful aqua colored candles. Um, Honestly, I should have bought the salmon colored candles also because salmon would be a really good color for a love spell for a Pisces. But I also want to show you the amazing books I have been getting this week. The first book I bought from the Harper's bookstore is another book on Russian mythology because it's something that I want to learn more about. There are so many Indo-European similarities between what the Celts were doing and what the Russians were doing. I found this book, Esoteric Rune Magic by D. Jason Cooper. It's one of the very few books he has ever written, but check out that cover. Is that not quintessentially early 90s art? Oh my god, I hate to say it, but I bought the book primarily for the artwork of the cover. I just adore it. I initially thought that the artwork was done by the artist of a tarot deck that I own, a rare 90s deck called the Art Nouveau Tarot, but that did not turn out to be the case. Another book I bought, and I just jumped for joy when I saw this. It's the Encyclopedia of Superstitions by E. and M. A. Radford, edited and revised, of course, by Christina Hall, who is an amazing folklorist in England. I think she's either dead now, or if not, she has long since retired. I adore all of her works. She's one of my favorite folklorists. Then the Occult Sciences in the Renaissance, a study in intellectual patterns by Wayne Shoemaker. Lots of juicy witchcraft studies and academia in this book. Totally excited to go through it and make use of it for my own research. But on the way back from Des Moines, I stopped by Stewart because they were having their annual spring book sale. You paid $5 for a bag, and you could just pick them whatever you could fit in it, and it's actually quite a large bag. So that was awesome. I'll save that for the end. I bought Easter Eggs, a collector's guide, which actually has some really good information about the history of Easter eggs in it. History that is actually missing from the works of Jacqueline Simpson and Ronald Hutton. They both insist that the origin of the Easter egg was just because the egg was not to be eaten during the period of Lent, so it was sort of a necessary form of protein. Despite the fact that there are many, many, many cultures throughout Europe, ancient Europe, that were exchanging eggs during Easter, and you found them also in tomb burials because they had this association with rebirth and new life. Also, I found the Splendid Art of Decorating Eggs, which I'm kind of lucky that they have these. I really enjoy vintage books, especially dealing with the holidays. I have been looking for this one for a while. It's another book by Jean Rose, or Jean Rose. I probably totally mispronounced her name, but it's Kitchen Cosmetics, and I will probably end up making some of her recipes this year. This is a book I've just been able to tick off my Amazon wish list, and it's Jesus and the Lost Goddess. Because, a lot of scholars are saying that early Christians were actually goddess worshippers. They believed in a goddess, and it's in many of the early Christian texts. Okay, this is Old American Kitchenware, 1725 to 1925. And, if you know anything about me, I love antiquing, and very rustic antiques are actually very popular in Iowa, which is why you see a butter mold, and they cost upwards of $90, so they're very expensive here. But I hate to say it, but one thing I noticed when I was flipping through this book was every single person working at the kitchen hearth is black. I hate to say it, but it just struck me as a little racially insensitive. But then again, it was written in, let's see, 1970. Ooh, ouch. I bought another book to round out my collection, Better Homes and Gardens book, and this is the Guide to Entertaining. Better Homes and Gardens is actually a very popular magazine here in Iowa. I would love to write for them, but they have a stipulation that you have to have a master's degree in journalism to submit them any articles for publication, which really sucks because I don't have a master's degree in journalism. I just studied music my whole life, so I am unable to submit anything to Meredith Publications, which really, really, really sucks. Oh, I am actually really, really excited about this book. It's pattern making, the flat pattern method. Um, because I love sewing and I love making patterns, but the treasure I found at the Stewart Library in Iowa was this book. A collectible hard copy of Bedknobs and Broomsticks by Mary Norton, which was turned into the famous Disney movie, and it is valued at between $92 and $149. So I really, really lucked out there. Now, when I came home, I decided to check the post office, and when I did, I had a parcel waiting for me from Indo's Traditions Press that was filled with books, and I'm really excited that they arrived. They are Cuban Santeria, Walking with the Night by Raul Canizares. Unfortunately, I believe he has died back in the early 2000s, which really sucks because I wanted to ask him a question after I got done flipping through this book. I've been wanting to read this book for a long time. It's The Witch's Ointment by Thomas Hetsis. This is a book by one of my favorite scholars from France, Claude Lecoultre, who either teaches or was educated at the Sorbonne, which is a renowned French academic institution. And this is traditional magic spells for protection and healing. And I absolutely adore hardbacks whenever I can get them. This is another book by Claude Lecoultre. And yes, I studied French. I know exactly how to pronounce his name. This is Demons and Spirits of the Land, Ancestral Lore and Practices. Yet another book by Claude Lecoultre. you can probably notice the theme. I really adore his work. This is the tradition of household spirits, ancestral lore and practices. Oh, they both have the same subtitle. Oh, and as you can notice on the diagram here, these are associated. These symbols here are actually associated with the wheel of the year. That little crosshatch is associated with Samhain. I believe that's midwinter. That would be Imbolg. That is Ostara, and so on and so forth. These symbols are mostly associated with the growth of crops, flowers, and plants. And again, another book by Claude Lecoultre, The Book of Grimoires, The Secret Grammar of Magic. Totally excited to read this book because I'm all about grimoires and books of magic. And as soon as I can get some decent art supplies, I will be uploading some videos on my own grimoire and how it's progressing. Because it's time for me to really just put all of the magical knowledge I have in my brain down into a book. You know, something that I can pass along to someone who I think is worthy of my knowledge of magic. And last but certainly not least, this badass beast of a book, The Encyclopedia of Aphrodisiacs, Psychoactive Substances for Use in Sexual Practices, by a favorite German anthropologist of mine, Christian Rotz, who has written a book on Walpurgisnacht, and I really, really, really hope that Into the Traditions gets the rights to that book and translates it into English, because the pagan community would love to read that book. I'm certain of it. I mean, I really want to read that book badly. And God, this book is just huge, thick, meaty, and rather expensive at $125. So, it's actually about half the size of his earlier book I'm reading off myself, in the Encyclopedia of Psychoactive Plants. So, yeah, it's just a phenomenal book. I have already been using it this afternoon while I am working on my own book on magical herbalism. So I hope you sort of enjoyed this this little book haul, and as I brought you along on my birthday today. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to give myself a tarot reading because my mom wouldn't let me for some reason. Even though I did not last year, but a few years ago, the year that I went to Chicago. So who knows why she had such a strong change of heart. But until next time, my witches, keep calm and witch on. If I could recommend only one book on herbal magic until mine is published, it would be this book. So if you need to beg, borrow, or steal from this book, don't really stuff this book. I'm just kidding. You know, I don't want to get into trouble for recommending thievery, but